Hello, my name is Kriostyx and welcome to WRC 7 and to my video series of 100 Years of Finland, where I'm every once in a while playing a game that has something to do with Finland, and I'm now driving the Finnish rally in this game here. And it is my third rally game of this series, but rally is really big in Finland, and this is a pretty new game too. I think it came out like a month or something ago at the time of recording this, so might as well, and I'm curious. And just to check, my driving style is pro, and my starting assistances and braking helps are obviously off, and damage affects handling and all that stuff, and gearbox is semi-automatic. The difficulty of the AI times is medium, and I'll explain why, like, in a few moments here. And the co-driver is pretty much the default one, I feel. Directions accessible, otherwise detailed, and British voice and all that good stuff. So with that said, let's go create a custom championship in Finland here. Let's just do this here. And the last time I drove while I was driving the WRC 6 game, I drove as Jari-Matti Latvala. Now I might as well do a different driver, and it is also a different team because, a new year, new teams, and this is the team where the Finnish people are driving. So the Toyota Yaris WRC is our vehicle of choice here, and I might as well drive as esa-pekka Lappi. And my tires need to be hard because that kind of bit me in the ass last time. It was my grip was gone very quickly with the soft tires last time. That was a really, really weird way to drive the game. And I will be talking while I drive this, so it means a couple of things then. And the first stage is Ounin pohja. Okay, so that'll mean that I will not very well hear the co-driver's notes because I'm talking, and also talking while trying to drive this sort of a pretty hard game well is very, very, very difficult to do. So I'll be doing considerably worse than I would otherwise because I'm not concentrating completely on the road and on the notes and such. I'll lose probably up to even 10 seconds per stage because of that. So so this will not be a pro run, so to speak. So there is that. And I believe that's really, well, we can just start the stage and hope for the best. But yeah, so considering the fact that I will be talking and just driving with my very, very faint memories of what I might expect and trying to see a note here and there, this will go very, very badly, is what's going to happen. And I'll actually, it's very possible that I won't win the overall rally even. It's gonna be annoyingly close, and if I like fuck up even a little bit, I will not win. I think so. Because I tried the difficulty settings a bit before I started this, because, well, just I want to see where I stand here, and I have played through all of the rallies at least once at some point, but I don't remember this by heart. You might be able to see it from that little mistake there. But with that said, though, I might as well voice a couple of impressions and opinions on this game compared to the one that came out last year, the WRC 6 game. And since I mentioned the difficulty, that might be a good place to start. So the short answer is that this game is harder than the one last year in a couple of different ways. Whoa, this is, God, I'm just making bad mistakes here. But so, and you might have heard the same thing from reviewers, that this game is harder than the one last year, and that is indeed true. However, before you get all worried, I would still say that when it comes to the rally games of this year that I can think of, I think this is still the most accessible of the bunch. Actually, are there any other, like, you know, fairly big budget rally games than this one and Dirt 4 this year? I can't think of any, but if there is, that's just slipping out of my mind now. But anyway, compared to say Dirt 4, this is the more accessible one. But however, it is indeed true that, for one, it feels to me that the surfaces are ever so slightly more slippery than before in WRC 6, and also the car is a bit more sensitive to things that, you know, happen on the road, so to speak, which is actually, while it makes it more difficult, that's a good thing, because that makes the car feel a bit more closer to authentic, let's say. Because I believe I'm on record saying that WRC 6 felt to me like you were almost driving on a car with no wheels. It didn't feel like you were really like touching the road on your wheels. It was like just driving you know, the body of the car on some like dirt. It was really weird, like for me at least. But this one feels much better in that sense, and also then more what's the word I'm looking for here? Just easier to fuck up, you know, but still it's better, but also harder. But that's not the only thing. There's also I've noticed at least a few new stages in like the overall game, and a lot of them have some supremely narrow areas to drive in, which weren't in the last game. I feel at least one I can really think of, which really just seeped into my mind, really, because it was really it was so memorable. So you might have a few more narrow areas as well. And the third way the game is harder is because essentially, if you remember, in WRC 6 I did the Rally of Finland against the hard level AI. This time medium, because more or less medium is in this game what hard was before, you know? And I would even venture to say that it probably differs a bit on a case-by-case basis, but at least on some stages, the current medium AI is even faster than what hard was in WRC 6. So you know, be prepared for that. But before you get all worried on me, there is still the easy AI difficulty setting, which, as far as I've tried it, it seems that difficulty is very, very easy. Like, you need to try to lose against the easy one. So the other difficulties are pretty hard, but the easy is still easy. That's the point. So, and even the control is still easier than in, say, Dirt. Ooh, I actually won the stage. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, like, maybe losing by at least 4 seconds. That's pretty good. By 1.5 seconds. Ooh, okay. That's a good start. That's a better start than I was hoping or well thinking, especially because I made a really bad mistake at the beginning. But mentioning something about Finland, indeed, I believe this Toyota team, I believe, is at least, like, you know, as like a team leader or something, like a manager or something like that, is led by Tommi Mäkinen, which might explain why all the drivers at this point are Finnish, that's really odd. Not complaining, but that's like, all Finnish, huh? Sure, great, but it almost looks like a bit, you know, playing favorites, but you know. But this stage in this Harju, this is a stage that I actually, in the last WRC game, I was like skeptical that while this looked really, really, really urban Finnish with, you know, some forests in the middle, I was like, is this really real? And it turns out, yes, it is. I was skeptical because it just we drive through so like weird spots, like you know, walking roads and all that. So like, huh? But yeah, this is absolutely real, one-to-one real. The other stages are probably approximations because they are not as long as the actual stages in real life, at least not mostly. But this one is one-to-one really real, and that's pretty cool, man. Because I actually saw a video of someone driving through the stage on an actual car, and just, oh, that's actually like really like, you know, authentic. That's pretty awesome. But with that said, let's try and not fuck up, because the first hairpin I really that went super bad. I was like, oh god. Let's try not to get too much damage to the car, because again, there is a very limited amount of repairing we can do if we make a bad mistake. Okay, so this chicane, I always fuck this up when I'm recording, but alone I drive it pretty okay. That was not pretty okay. Let's just be honest here. But let's just try and get it to the finish. There we go, good enough. Yeah, you know, bit of a. At least we won. That's the important part. Oh wow. But you know, crossing the finish line is enough. That's like by 1/10 of a second. Yikes. So in the overall set, like amounts, I'm 2.3-ish seconds ahead from the second one. That's like the medium setting here is really the like my level pretty much. So and now to Horkka. And actually, I believe if I saw correctly, there was 6 different like driving stages in this rally here. But actually, there's only 4 different stages, I feel, and one of them is just these 2, like, you know, long dirt stages back to back. So it has some, you know, repeating stages as well, just with, say, different weather effects or something, which is kind of a bummer, really. But what can you do? I would at this point already hope for at least one more different one, but what can you do? However, I gotta stay focused as well, just so that we get this done. And again, comparing this game to the game last year, I know that I believe it's kind of not very helpful to try and go into details about graphics, because, you know, in the end video it doesn't probably, you know, translate too clearly, but I feel the game overall does look better than WRC 6 on the same console and as I'm playing on the Xbox One. But maybe even more importantly, the main like graphical weirdness about WRC 6 for me was that there was a lot of graphical pop-in. And I don't mean like the kind where just, you know, graphics just, you know, appear out of like thin air, like boom, like, you know, immediately, but they more like really fast. How can I explain this? Like the bushes and the shrubbery in the sides of the roads seem to really quickly just grow there. Well, so they weren't like fully ready and loaded. So that sort of pop-in was really bad in WRC 6. It still sometimes happens here, but I do feel like it's a lot better. And so, you know, give credit where it is due. I hope I didn't already mention that. I'm kind of, you know, being a bit loopy here because I'm also quite tired and trying to focus on driving, and I'm a bit forgetting what I've already said. However, ooh, rough turn, but we kind of got through that. But there is that, and there's a lot of. I don't remember the lighting being quite this prevalent in the game before this, but I think the lighting looks better, but also there is the problem that now the lighting is very, very, how can I say, aggressive, because there are a number of stages where you drive into really, really bad lens flaring. Like it's like you can see a bit of it here and there on these stages, but there are some in other countries where just a lot of the stage in some weathers is just driving into a blinding lens flare almost the entire stage. It's fucking terrible sometimes. It's just like, wow, like, ouch. And, come on. Oh, rough one. There we are. And it can be a bit distracting, but beyond that, it's still, it's kind of a rough improvement on last year. Is what that is. They could maybe hone that down just a little bit, because the lens flare is sometimes really, really bad. Ooh, come on, just tight one, good. But beyond that, it kind of, you know, for 1 year, the graphical improvements are fairly significant if you've, you know, looked at this game a lot. Ooh, I won by 1.59 seconds again, okay. Getting real tight this, wow. And I lead the entire thing by 3.8 seconds after 3 stages. This is so tight, this is extremely tight. That essentially means that if I drive out even once, I'm back to second or third or whatever. It's like, ugh. But yeah, this is indeed the I don't think there were stages this long in WRC 6. It is like 17.5 kilometers, but it is essentially just a 2 of the other stages back to back. So it's like I believe Ouninpohja and what was the other one? Give me just a hot second. The other one was Horkka, right? So Ouninpohja and Horkka back to back is what this is called. So Päijälä is like, well, it's just the others, like, you know, combined. So sure, but so it's kind of I like the fact that they have added a really, really long stage. Usually I think there's one per country. I'm not sure if every single one has one of these, but at least most of them do, if not all. So I like that they have this, because an endurance stage, I like the idea. Like, that's good, but it is a bit of a bummer that it's just, you know, 2 back to back. Rally games have done overlapping like that before. That's par for the course, but it's still a bit of like, come on, how about some new roads, man? Oh well. But at least we have a nice Finnish summer weather with lots of sun and just clear lights and all that, just so we can focus on trying to not completely embarrass ourselves by being terrible at driving this, but let's just see how it goes. Oh, that almost... I almost lost it there. And driving into the spectators would have been essentially... I don't know. Essentially a restart, really. So, because the penalty time for doing that is so bad. Well, I mean, it's like, I think maybe 10 seconds, but considering the situation I'm in, 10 seconds is something I might not be ever able to drive back, so there's that. I don't know if it'll come up here, it probably should, but there is a bit of a gripe that I had last time in WRC 6, and the same gripe is still here. So, oh crap, sorry, okay. So, so the pace notes, as I mentioned before in last year's game, they have this really, really annoying system going on, where they don't actually visually tell you what a turn tightens into. So let's suppose that we have, say, a left 5, for example, and that left 5 tightens into left 3. So, and that's like, yep, that happens in Rally, but so every other Rally game that I've ever played shows the pace notes so that it starts with the left 5, and then it shows the actual note for left 3 after that, you know, back to back. But for some reason in WRC games, it just shows left 5 and a small red and white triangle to show that the turn tightens into something, but you don't see what it is. The game says that in voice, yeah, but it's like, if you miss that voice, and or if you want like a visual reference of what exactly you're like, you know, going into, that reference is not there, because it's just the wrong turn with a bit of a red triangle. Like, yeah, this turn is tighter than a left 5. Great. Like, come on, man. Why not have a left 5 into left 3 as a visual, like, you know, pictures? Like, why not? God damn. It's so bad. And that's, I checked if that was one of those. That was not one of those. That was a case where the left 3 tightened into a bit more tight, but not a different corner, and then immediately after that there was a square left. So that was not an example of that, but trust me, it happens a lot of times per stage, and it's so annoying. It's a small thing, but I really hate that, especially now that I'm talking while driving. I'd love to have the visual guide to be, you know, accurate to what is going on, and it's not, because it doesn't show what a turn tightens into. It's like, ah, come on. There we go. And of course, sometimes they can tighten just a bit, but that's fine. There we are. Right 5 tightens 4, but they only show the visual for right 5. That was an excellent example. And sometimes they tighten a lot more than just one number, and they still don't show the number for that it tightens into. It's infuriating. I hate that. But a small thing, but man, it just drives me up the wall with this. God damn. So so you know, some criticism as well, which I just gotta be honest about what I feel about the game. I like the game actually, but that one thing, like every other rally game, just shows the actual corner, like, you know, or the turn. Like, it's just, you know, right 5 picture tightens into picture right 3. Like, come on, man, why not? Oh, and sometimes indeed there's like helicopters, as here on the air above the road. On that one it wasn't too bad. It was like almost not a thing. But in most other rallies, when there's a helicopter like that, it just like creates this wall of dust in the middle of the road, which is you can't see through. So it's like you're just driving blindly through. Like, great, thanks. Could you please be somewhere else, you goddamn helicopter? Like, ah, man. But let's just keep our cool and focus and gain energy from the lovely nature of Finland. And that indeed, this place looks authentic. So I got a feeling that it is indeed a sort of like a visualization of a lot of actual parts of the actual stages, because that would make sense, honestly, because they have the official license, so why not, you know? It's even probably easier than to build stuff from scratch, just to have a reference point. And this rock chicane is really iconic, and there we are, and a bit scary. Okay. And I believe my face is covering the upper part of the HUD on the left there, but it's showing that we have an almost 5 kilometers still to go, so there's no room for errors here still, and we have some time to go. So we need to channel all the great Finnish drivers, like indeed Jari-Matti Latvala, who's still driving, and Mikko Hirvonen, and well, and who is actually retired at this point, and of the other who are, you know, from history, who are, I believe, all of them are world champions, like, you know, Ari Vatanen and Juha Kankkunen and Tommi Mäkinen, of course, who is the team leader in this Toyota team, and Markus Grönholm, if I didn't mention him already, and all that stuff. I just channel all of those great Finnish rally drivers and try to make them proud by winning against the medium difficulty AI. But I swear, like, this... I haven't yet actually... I actually should probably, on my own, like check from my video that how fast did the AI drivers, as, you know, time drive in the stages in the last year's game, because it does, at least practically, it feels like this is the new hard, the medium level. So, but that's neither here nor there, because now we can just focus on taking the left 4 and jump and right 5 and not fuck up, which I feel that a fuck up is really incoming here. Okay. Come on, let's keep on. There we go. And just square right. This is a tough one because there's a ditch on the inside and there's a wall on the outside, and, or a fence on the outside. So because ditches are really hazardous to drive through, because you can really like, you can even roll over the car on them, which is rather and actually, if I didn't mention, as the driving is a bit more sensitive to all the stuff on the road, that also means that the car is a touch less planted, meaning that the ooh, I won by 4.3 seconds. That was a lot better. Like, I've won all of them so far, so the little bit that I practiced before was I didn't actually win most of these. So, ooh, this is interesting. I'm 10 seconds ahead only, though. So we're far from done here. But the cars feel a tiny bit less weighty, you know. So they feel a bit more lightweight, which in this case is good. In some other rally games, I feel that the cars even maybe feel a bit too lightweight, that they're almost like just, you know, they weigh about the amount of a feather and they're in a bouncy castle, because it's a bit weird on some simulation rallies to me, or at least on some surfaces. I might actually go a bit more in depth on that if I talk in a video, like, more broadly about a couple of different rally games. But I kind of like the weighty feel of the cars here. They could use a lot more precision on every single exact thing on the road, but it is indeed an improvement from last year, and it's, you know, okay. It has been done better as well, but still. And this indeed is a probably something we've seen already, but now in heavy rain, because of course it has to be heavy rain. And it does absolutely affect the handling. It's a lot more slippery now, which is exactly as it should be, but boy does it create some tension here. The beautiful rainy Finland, which, to be fair, if you ever visit Finland, it's it at least feels like that it's always raining in summer. So you know that's a pretty accurate representation here. Although the actual weather here looks maybe even a tiny bit autumnish, but then again the trees are all green, so I guess it's still even raining. It's supposed to be summer, so you know. It's just that usually crap, that's bad spot. Okay, it's that usually it's not quite this foggy during the summer, but otherwise it's, you know, fitting. So the fog amount is autumn to me, but the leaves and trees and such are summer, so you know. But it does fit the current weather in here, because I believe at this point it's probably under like 10 Celsius at night or in the evening, and barely above 10 in the day. So you know, it feels fitting. Man, those jumps are my heart jumps like a full meter. You don't see that, but it really does when I jump, because you can considering that, you know, one fuck up is all that it needs to almost force a restart at this point, is so it means that essentially, since it's so easy to land a jump really badly, you just need to have some bad luck on the, you know, on the launch there, and you'll just end up on one wheel when you come down, and it's just a bad scene for everyone, man. So it's really take it. Oh, there we go. Not even close. I held it quite nicely, if I say so myself. Okay, sure, I didn't. That's true. But at least we didn't completely just, you know, stop the car there. Or at least not for a long period of time. And we're a couple of kilometers out of the finish line here, and as it is the second to last stage, at least we're on the sort of home stretch pretty soon. And it does feel good to do this again. Like it just needs to be remembered every once in a while how awesome of a thing it is that Finland is 100 years old. It's just, you know, in all the turmoils of history and all that stuff, like it's an actual accomplishment, I feel. And well, our, like, you know, our fathers or grandfathers and so on have fought hard to hold on to that independence, so it's more than just worth celebrating. It's a really great thing. And just almost at the finish line. I have no idea if I'll win this one. This wasn't... There was a couple of fuck-ups, but it's gonna be close. Oh, I completed 100 stages, so there we... When I won the stage 2. I have no idea I done 100. So what I've been doing so far is I've beaten the Junior WRC World Championship and the WRC 2 or whatever it's called. The, you know, the class before this one. And then I've driven maybe, what could I say, like, my first guess is half of the WRC actual, like, season beyond that. And then I believe I did a couple of practice runs of this to just like get the feel, because I was like, my memory was just completely blank on what the hell am I looking at on this rally, so had to do that. 100 though, that's, well, time flies when you're driving a pretty fun game. It has issues still, and it is like debatably possibly not the best rally game on the market, but it is the one with the official tracks, though, and team, well, the official tracks or the, you know, approximations and shortened versions of them. So, you know, and of course it doesn't have even close to all the official true tracks of the real world, but it has a few per country, so there's at least that. So I'm actually not sure yet. I might do a of a couple of rally games and then, you know, determine which one is overall better and which one is better in this one thing and this one thing and so on. It might be interesting. If you want to see that, please do let me know. I'm kind of curious at trying to do you know, different things, so that could be an interesting project to try and do. And while I'm thinking about that, it's really not a good idea to try and do that while trying to drive really well in a fairly heavy rain still, and in one of the harder stages of the game to me. Or well, not the hardest maybe, but it has a number of really nasty surprises, this one, like this one. It's really easy here to drive too hard into this corner and go to left there to the rocks. I've done that so many times, especially in WRC 6, man. That was my bane of existence for a lot of runs. I don't know why. My brain just wouldn't believe that there's a hazard there. I don't know why. And indeed, speaking of official stages, that is what it has going for it here, because I feel that compared to most of the other rally games that I can think of, these stages are more iconic and have a bit more, how can I say, a bit more character to them. Whereas the others may feel a bit more generic in a lot of places. That kind of bothers me every once in... Oh, fuck. That's bad. Okay, just... Come on. That... Whoa. I don't know what the hell... That's just... I don't know what I did wrong there. I just don't. I wasn't paying complete attention, that's true, but I feel... that has happened to me, like, let's say, during those 100 stages, maybe half a dozen times. For an unknown reason, the car just goes full 180 on me, and I'm not sure what I did there. So it's just, huh. Like, did like one of the tires just hit enough of an edge on the grass while I was just braking, and then it just made like an uneven grip on the car, and or what happened, but I'm not sure what went down there. But that's, as I mentioned, it's not a pro run, because I am not completely focusing all of my attention on the notes, which would be very, very good to do if you want to, like, actually do your fastest times in the game, because it is indeed harder than the one before. But I think that mistake is... 10 seconds, though. It's actually now interesting to see. I'm not sure if I'll win the overall rally with that mistake on it. I gotta try and focus and get this down, man. If I drive super fast the rest of the stage, I feel I have a... Fuck. There we go, then. Man. That crest was really tricky to me. And thing is, I even drove this stage once before already, so it's kind of like, man, it's really annoying to fuck off there. There we go. Wow. I don't think I'll, like... If I don't win the overall rally, I don't think I'll restart the stage, though. It's like, you know, then it's done. That's the honest result, you know. Shows that, like, well, I am human and I'm also really bad at driving. Oh man. That was a couple of really, really embarrassing mistakes, because that's the thing. You should never try to push yourself too hard while going these stages. You should always drive clean first and fast second. Otherwise, you're gonna eventually like just mess up real bad, and that's just gonna just destroy the entire run, man. But if I win, I'm happy. Like, the overall rally, I mean. This stage I won't, I absolutely won't win this stage. That's impossible. But the overall rally, I might have a chance. Let's see. And a bit of a long turn, but not too bad. It was worse that first time, so... hard gas to the... Okay, let's see here. I lost by... 2.359 seconds. Ooh, that means I believe I won the overall rally. By 11.6 seconds. Oh, wow. Whew, that was quite something. But, with that then, we've accomplished this here, and this was a fun thing to do. And, indeed, I might do at some point, like either a vlog or a different kind of a video to compare a couple of different rally games and see, like, you know, where they stand, you know, compared to each other. But with that though, I do hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please do drop a like or a comment or even subscribe or share if you want to. It would really help, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.